pouring down with rain today. Wrong day for shorts and t-shirt. Anyway, Vaillant. Customer's just complaining that it's losing pressure daily. So, first thing we checked is pressure release valve. Just give that a little tap. As you can see, we've got water coming out of there. The chances are we're going to find the expansion vessel's flat. So we'll whip the case off, drop the pressure in the boiler, recharge expansion, clean the PRV, turn the power off to the boiler, close the flow and return isolation valves, form an Allen key. We're going to drop the pressure out of the boiler. We're going to use the pressure release valve because it's already passing water down there. As a rule, we generally don't touch the pressure release valve. We'd use the drain off underneath on the ISO valve there. But in this instance, we're going to take it out anyway. We'll just use that. Right, so we're going to connect our pump to the expansion. Let's see what we're picking up pressure wise. There we go, nothing. Expansion's flat. That's why we're overcharging, that's why we're losing pressure at the PRV. So we're going to put some pressure back in this boiler. The expansion, sorry, we'll put some pressure back into the expansion and we'll hold the PRV open while we're doing it so it can displace the water. Vessel's recharged. We're just going to check the Schrader valve now. Bit of leak detection fluid. There's no balls coming out of there, that's fine. I'm going to strip this PRV out, give this a clean, put it back in, see where we go. So we're just stripping that pressure release valve out now. A 22mm socket. Careful as you take it out because you might get some water come out still inside. There we go. We'll clean that up in there. We'll clean that and we should be good to go. So we're just trying to make sure the centre brass part, that's a brass ring you can see where the water's flowing through. We're trying to make sure that's clean, it's got a clean surface for the rubber to seal against. There we go, looks a bit better. We've cleaned that up. Same again, just a little wire brush, a bit of water, clean that up. We'll put that back in and we'll test that. We'll pressurise the boiler. We'll disconnect it underneath there so we can see if there's any drips or anything passing out of the pressure release valve. I find a very good success rate with this, just cleaning the PRVs, cleaning the inside and putting them back together. Can get you out the crap that can if you haven't got the part on the van as well. One thing to check on these Vaillant boilers as well, we've got pressure gauge, pressure sensor. Pressure sensors always seem to read out on these. So a little thing you can do to prove this, that it's out. It's drained down completely. Turn the power back on. As you can see, we're reading 0.6 bar. So that'll cause the boiler to run, even when there's no pressure in there. Which is that little sensor there. Sometimes they build up with a little bit of muck at the back, but I generally find they just read out and they need replacing. so we'll be advising the customer on this. We'll just see if we can get this up and running for the minute, and we'll be advising needs a new pressure sensor. So stick a little bit more pressure in there. Boiler's on, system's pressurised. As you can see, the indifference of pressure there, reading 1.7 already on the pressure gauge, pressure sensor. Pressure gauge is probably close to 1. I'm not a big fan of these. I prefer with numbers on there, so much easier. So what we've done at the minute, flow returns both back open. Air vents I think we're going to find closed. It's just not working correctly. There's a bit of air in that pump. We'll bleed the pump in a minute. We've got the pressure release valve disconnected. We've got a bit of tissue up there now. We're confident that tissue is going to be dry. We're going to run the boiler up to its maximum temperature, carry out 26.9 checks, and we're confident that pressure release valve is going to be okay, and we'll set the high and low CO2 up. Right, so we're just going to carry out some force tests on this boiler, flue gas analysis, inlet burner pressure test. Little tip, what we use for the vaillant, little bacho, spanner, screwdriver bit in the end, works a treat. It's quite easy to get to on this one. Some of the newer models it's really hard and difficult to get to. I just think it's a bad design, but this makes it a bit easier for us. Get yourself one of these. Right, so we're going to put this into high fire mode. That's turning the power on whilst you're holding the plus button, which will bring up a P code, and we're looking for P01 I think it is. There we go, P0, press it, P01. I to accept it. This will run the boiler in high fire. Right on sample point. Get the analyzer in. There we go. Inlet pressure's a bit low, look, 16 millibar. Something's not circulating. Okay. So we're going to start looking at TRVs, see what's turned on, see what's turned off, see if the plate's activating, see if the diverter valve's moving correctly. Right, it's running a bit better now. Found customer all the TRVs closed on the radiators. So just taking the readings, making sure everything's okay. Inlet pressure's low. So we've let the boiler run, it's got up to temperature. We've observed the pressure gauge, not took too much notice of that because we know that's wrong. All the time we've had our pressure release valve disconnected, we've had a piece of tissue in there. Let's just take this out. There you go. Not a drop, not one drop. As you can see, straight up into it. No drips coming down. That's good to go.